Welcome back to Grandia with me, Matthew Caddis, aka Puggy. So today we will find out what is actually on board this ghost ship, and although there are actual literal ghosts, then the boss actually isn't a ghost, as we'll see. As we'll see in a moment, but there is something on board the ship, as we'll find out in a moment, because yeah, the prey is already here, namely Justin, Sue, and Fina. They are the prey, and indeed, where we have to go is into the captain's room, and indeed read the logbook, because this will tell us of what happened to the crew of this ship, basically. Basically, some monster. I'm sorry, I said basically twice, but long story short, there's a giant monster, pretty much. Sort of thing, and from the sound of it, it sounds like the Kraken. Well, almost. Not really the Kraken, but something akin to that. So that being said, we're about to find out, Sue. We're about to find out what this giant monster is. As we'll see. Things start to rumble, and out comes our monster, namely the Squid King. Yes, and this can be can be a very tough fight if you're not prepared, especially if you don't know how to use magic. As I say, if you've been using burn spells, you may well have learnt Burn Flame. I think I've learned it somewhat halfway through this fight. Burn is a very good spell to use on this boss because it is a ranged spell and can attack the Squid King's tentacles. So yeah, the main thing to look out for with the Squid King is when he sucks you in and attacks you with his tentacles as well. So yeah, again, this is kind of a good thing that two of our fighters in our party here have ranged attacks, namely Sue and Fina, of course. Although having said that, there's still the suck-in move, which I also hate. However, because Fina's just learned Burn Flame, I'm going to try and use it. Burn Flame is a level 2 magic spell, and can do a bit more damage here. A water beast is weak against fire. Weird. You'd think it would be thunder, but whatever. This doesn't operate in the same way as Final Fantasy does. So yeah. I'm going to try and take out the tentacles. The main reason for that is that the tentacles have their own attacks, and one of them, the left tentacle most especially, can use all heal, and I do not want it healing at the Squid King here. Seriously, it's level 2 magic if I can help him. I suppose I could do that. Also, that shockwave move is very annoying. Yeah, seriously. You can use evasion to avoid the attacks and whatnot, but yeah. I think I'll just use the thing. Burn Flame. Also, Fina does actually have a first aid kit with her. That is very good for healing all of the party, if you know what I mean. So finally the left tentacle is down. Okay, so I'll use a wound salve on Sue here, because most of the times when I do face this boss, Sue is the first to be KO'd by the Squid King. So I'll go straight for the body there. I'm not going to use Paralyzed Whip because, to be honest, I don't really need to. No. Okay, so I don't really need to heal here. I could just use Burn on the Squid King himself. Again, I don't know if he still uses the shockwave attack. I think he does, even with one tentacle. It was a bit... I don't know if the damage is less. I don't think it is, actually, to be honest, but... Yeah, all heal was my biggest worry, other than the thing. Okay, he still does attack with one tentacle, so yeah. Probably have to use some wound salve on Justin soon. Either that or some ginseng. Oh! Yeah, ginseng on the thing. That heals about 60 HP, which is very, very good indeed. There we go. And then... Can't use puffy kicks, so I'll just have to rely on physicals. Laser eye is a really annoying move, especially since given it can be launched from anywhere on the field and everything. Or Sue. I don't have enough resurrect potions, that's all I'm gonna say. Let's see, I don't have any fourth thing, but I'll just use the first aid kit anyway because then I'm going to tend to the living before I tend to reviving those who are unconscious. So yeah, I have one resurrect potion on just it. I don't know why I got rid of the other ones, but there you go. So I'll use it on Sue and hope that the Squid King don't KO her again. Seriously, I do not want that. That is a wind spell. It doesn't do too much, as I say. Although it is strong at this stage in the game, because, as I say, this is the first time we've got used to an enemy using any sort of magic spells. So burn, definitely, hopefully burn them, and there's a bit more. I may want to use a critical on the boss there, just to avoid the laser eye. Why not? A few hand darts as well. And the Squid King goes down. And when you attack the main body, the appendages also come off. That is true of most of the bosses in Grandia. So, you know, Grandia 1 at least. It's also about Grandia 2, but yeah, we'll get to that. For now, we've taken down... Yeah, apparently they were attacked by the Squid King, so there were no ghosts. Unless the ghosts of the crew, which is kind of morbid, we've been attacking all of them. Let me guess, the ship is sinking? Yep, it is sinking! So in that case, we're gonna get the hell out of here. Seriously. Although having said that, unlike with the Mako reactor in Final Fantasy VII, we do not have a time limit at least. Seriously, that's the thing. The game does give us this whole thing about escaping with our lives, even obviously anti with some very scary music. But now we're stuck on the deck, and leave it to you. Okay, what are you gonna do there, Fina? Well, she's gonna be a bit handy with her whip, just like with Indiana Jones, and use it to haul us back up to the thing there. Okay, it wasn't a whip, it was a rope. And after that, what will happen is that, well, we will actually see the ghost ship actually sink here. Seriously. Yeah, this was actually quite impressive, I dare say. At least for like I think this was all done with the game graphics and everything, so down goes the ghost ship. We will never see it again. Thank goodness. And everyone is happy that the ship can actually move on to New Palm. Yeah, well, none of you, except for one member of the crew, had any backbone. And let's not speak too greatly of the captain, after all. Oh no, it's the ghost ship. We're all doomed! Doomed, I tell you! Or something like that. I don't know, I can't do the things I'm thinking. My voice sounds like Mr. Krabs. Seriously, it sounds like Mr. Krabs! Although we're supposed... I don't know what the voice actor for what little lines he did have for the captain. He did have, but yeah. And everyone celebrates, yada yada yada. Justin and Sue are now heroes, but they're still apprentice sailors as well. Even though they're also trying to be adventurers. Yeah, I guess. Also, I do like the remix, the rather rocky remix of the Grandia theme here. Seriously, this is not the first time there'll be another version of the Grandia theme. There's also one in Grandia 2. I do not speak flying little mascot. That is not Pikachu. So instead, we will head for New Palm. And indeed, though, having said that, we will also find out that we're no longer needed as sailors, as we'll see, and when we get up and everything. Well, not yet. I am going to do some shopping, I guess. The guy doing the salute is no longer here. So, actually, oh no, I'll just go to sleep and see you on the, to advance the story, we'll have to speak to the sailor here. Yeah, well, you could understand they're kids. You could understand why you wouldn't think they were adventurous, even if Justin goes on and on about it, seriously. Anyway, let's go to swapping the decks again. Nope. We may well be the heroes who saved the ship, but we still need to do that, so off to sleep we go. And indeed, the next day we'll wake up and indeed head to the next one. So let's go back upstairs then, and around the corner and into the next area, where we will find a knocked over broom. But yes, one of the sailors will come down and indeed tell us that we're no longer needed as, well, yeah, that's what we usually do. And the other guy usually works us to the bone. And that doesn't sound like a nice thing to say. Oh, that's why. You don't have to put it so bluntly, mate. Well, anyway, we can go and see the new world, which I will do. Indeed, we will actually find out that Valencia is not far away, and this would very well be, Yep, there it is indeed. That is indeed the new world of Valencia. I guess. We don't really have a world map though, so kind of like Final Fantasy 10 really. I don't care, I still like that game. Yep, we are indeed finally here. It took us a while and the giant squid got in the way. But yes, we are finally at the new world of Valencia. And indeed, Fina will now join us, if only temporarily, because, as I said, we will find out why in a moment. Apparently, yes it is. And Sue's getting a bit too excited for my liking, but whatever. Yeah, I guess. Is Fina gonna join our party like she mentioned? Well, let's actually see, because, well, there's something that does come up that forces her to leave our party, although she won't say at this point. So this is the port of New Palm, and indeed, everyone runs around like crazy, and I am not kidding here. They do indeed run around like crazy. Again, Justin is a kid, as is Sue. You know, in any case, well, yeah, I guess it is new coming to a new land and everything. Sure, Justin, sure. And they even do the high-five greeting as well. I thought that was only for when you were fully fledged, though, Justin. Oh, yeah. Yep. We did. How come, why does Fina suddenly not want to come with us? Well, we'll find out on the next episode, as I say. Well, we'll certainly do that after we've been to the Adventurous Society. What's wrong now? Okay, I don't know what this is for, but... okay, I don't get it. Well, oh, high five greeting! I'm guessing Fina now accepts you as a fully fledged adventurer. Or something, I don't know. And more on the spirits a bit later, as I say. Well, anyway, I'm going to head into the town of New Palm because that is the place where you save, as I say. And I may well look round the port a bit later, I don't know. But yeah, that is where we want to go, and into the inn where we can save there. There is also a weapon shop. In fact, I might as well go over that because after we went through the ghost ship, we've got our first mana egg. This is how we get our spells, and so I'm going to give Sue a spell, namely the heal spell, because it's one of the easiest ones to learn, and you do need a healer on the team, so why not a long-distance fighter, eh? So yeah, that's how it works. Once you level up each spell, there are only so many mana eggs in the game, so yeah, they're kind of rare. So definitely keep a hold on them, basically. Anyway, I will see you on the next one, and goodbye!